Alright boys, welcome. This is going to be the start of this fucking shitbox Jeep here. I figured I like watching YouTube videos of people working on junk shit, so I'm just gonna start recording myself fucking with this for fun, I guess. I don't know. But this is a 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. It's got the 4.7 V8 in it, factory equipped with quad drive. As you can see, it's been sitting for a little while because it's got fucking mildew and shit on here, but for a northern Wisconsin Jeep, it's pretty fucking clean. Especially for what I paid for it. To find a Jeep that's cleaner than this for more, well, less than a couple grand, I would say, is pretty good. And I get a good deal on it, so these tires are going to be coming off. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do completely for a build yet. I'm thinking like a 6.5 inch long arm kit in the front. I probably won't long arm the back. I don't really need the travel, but I want the better ride quality. Especially if I'm lifting at 6 inches. A 6 inch lift on a short arm kit's going to be fucking terrible. So right now I'm chasing down some electrical problems because the windows, nothing works over here. I have the power on. Nothing works over here right now. And I went through all the fuses I could find were all good, no problems there. But there's comment on these Jeeps for these wires down here to be breaking. And as you can see, I have at least 2 right now that I need to peel out and resolder back together. Ideally, you'd replace the whole door harness, but for what I'm going to use this Jeep for in the end, I don't give a fuck about that, to be honest with you. So unless it keeps being a steady issue, I'm not going to replace the whole harness. The fuel pump may or may not work right now. When I turn the ignition on, it will actually spray fuel out. So you can see that puddle down there will actually spray fuel out. Not entirely sure where. So I either have a broken line somewhere, or it's disconnected, or something. Unfortunately, this tank of fuel, if the gauge is accurate, says that there's about a half a tank of fuel in it, which isn't ideal for dropping the tank. Otherwise, I was just going to go in through the floorboard to change the fuel pump out, but with it spraying that much fuel out when I turn the ignition on, I'm not entirely certain that the fuel pump is actually bad. So I'm going to drop that skid plate and check all the lines and make sure none of the lines are broken before I go fucking around with the fuel pump, because the fuel pump's like $200. And I'm trying to put as little money into this piece of shit as I can, considering I'm just going to use it as a woods beater. But yeah, that's the start for now. As I pointed out earlier on these Grand Cherokees, it's a pretty common problem for these wires in here to break. The wires are constantly flexing back and forth. Maybe it's just not a design. I'm not a car maker. What the fuck do I know? All I know is it's a problem. So we clearly have, I can find 2 wires right here. You pull this one out, that are broken, and somebody has butt connected this one already previously. I probably wouldn't use a butt connector on this to fix it. Soldering it would be a much better fix, because These butt connectors are obviously very rigid in a spot where you don't want rigid materials. So I'm trying to pull these wires through here real quick. All I can see is these two. Let me grab a pair of pliers quick. Motherfucking needle nose. Son of a bitch. Got a bandit around here. Fuck it. Brute force him out. I don't really feel like taking this whole door harness out. Unfortunately, I might not have a choice. It's my heater coming on right now. This boot out of the way. That way I can get into these wires a little bit. You can already see the sheathing on this one's. Maybe you can't see it. The sheathing on this orange one is already split, and this is real brittle wire, I can tell. However, I'm going to do my best to connect these back and forth, because currently right now the mirror adjustment, the windows up and down, nothing works over here. So I'm gonna get these wires connected back together. And I gotta check that side yet. And hopefully we'll be able to fix this problem, because I'd like to get the windows to roll down just so I can push it in and out of here easier. Does run on this, however the fuel pump issue does not allow it to stay running. This Jeep currently has just about 300,000 miles on the odometer, I believe, 303,000, but according to the previous owner, the motor was replaced at a Chrysler dealership at around 200,000 miles. Doesn't have the paperwork for that, but regardless, I believe it. Not that it really matters to me for what I'm going to use this for, but so I'm going to strip these wires here. I'm going to try to get this butt connector off, that way I can not cut this wire back at all, because I want to save as much length in here as I can. And I don't think I'd have enough to solder this back together if I cut it off and then still have it move good enough. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm already about 2 minutes in here, and I've already electrocuted myself once. So I'm going to do the smart thing. I know there's a first time for everything. And I'm going to disconnect the battery here real quick, because I don't like being shocked. Not even a little bit, to be honest with you. And I've been shocked a lot. These terminals look kind of crusty, but I cleaned the insides off, like the actual connection. I cleaned it off, so it's a good connection. I'm going to replace these terminals eventually, because these fucking nuts are fucked up. But getting it running and driving under its own power right now is more important to me than placing the fucking terminals, so fuck's sakes. No more electrocution. I'm working in here right now, trying to get this wires reconnected back here. So, just trying to get these fuckers out enough. I don't know if I'll be able to use these automatic ones in here or not. It's pretty fucking tight. That rubber boot pushed back a little bit. Not enough, naturally. Fuck's sakes. So I went and I took this plastic molding out of here. That did not help my situation at all. I did get these wires pulled out and I stripped them out. I'm about to attempt to solder them back together, but I thought maybe if I looked up in here you could unclip the wiring harness, but that's not the case, and it ended up just being a giant waste of my time, even though it only took like 2 minutes to get it out. But you know, why would they make the wires easily removable? Like I said, I don't know, I'm not a car manufacturer. But that just doesn't seem like a very smart design to me. Either way, I'm gonna go for a drink break here because Daddy needs some go-go juice to help him out on this. And then we're going to attempt to solder those back together. Check the other side, and I pray to God that the other side isn't broke, because to be honest, I don't feel like fucking with it. Probably won't matter anyway. So I just finished up soldering and covering these wires, these two broken wires up in here. One was black, and this one was the orange and white one. I don't know what these do. Obviously black is probably ground, which would make sense of why nothing worked over here off the master control panel, whatever you want to call it, master panel, something like that I think it's called. So I already reconnected the battery, and turn the key on here, and sure enough now everything works. Auto one works on the driver door, passenger side, everything works here. This thing even has a fucking sunroof, which I guess is kind of neat. Needs some fucking oil, obviously, because this fucking thing's been sitting probably under some trees. Because you look at this, there's fucking like mildew or something on this thing. I don't know. I gotta clean it up. But yeah, that's a good fucking fix for now.